Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. How is it going, everyone? This is Bah, the one co-host of this show, Nothing But Miss. We're back for season 2. I'm fired up. This is my co-host, Melky. How are you doing, buddy?
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. It feels so good to be back. How many times have I said the word back? I enjoyed my hot girl summer. Did not practice my free throws or my dribbling. Having said that, let's just take it to the hardwood, brother.
Let's do it. So, because of this momentous occasion, you and I, season 2, we talk about basketball non-fucking stop, man. Besides hockey and all the others in football, like this is just up there, one of our loves. I've got a little bit of a surprise for you, and that surprise is episode 1 titled The Scotty Barnes Show, in honor of you, because if everybody remembers from last season, we're going to touch on this quick. We both weren't happy. Melk was a lot less happy than I was when the Raptors drafted 4th overall Scotty Barnes instead of Jalen Suggs, who we both wanted. But Scotty Barnes, I got to tell you, man, he's on fire. He's everything we wanted and more, because the Toronto Raptors right now, as of recording, are 6-3, just beating the Washington Wizards, who we should be playing multiple times. Some big performances, but how are you feeling at the start of the season, Melk? And let's hear it for Scotty Barnes. Have you turned?
Foot in the mouth. Foot in the mouth completely. I was wrong about this kid. He is everything, if not even more than I thought he'd be. He's only getting better. He just, you know what? It's more impressive. What? The poise that he has on the court, the vision he has on the court. I'm going to say this right now. He's already better than Draymond Green, and that's who he's being compared to.
I don't disagree with you. Like, his game, just the Raptors' defensive game at whatever 9 games in is pretty incredible. At like this 6'9" wingspan experiment is working because they're just blocking everybody out. Scotty Barnes, I'm just all aboard the hype train. Like let's go. This guy, Masai, apparently Melky knows more than you and I. I didn't realize that, I guess, but who knew? That's why the guy has the job.
Who would have thought that the guy who made the Kawhi Leonard trade and won us a title would know more than you and I?
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of him, just a quick little overview for fans. Obviously, you guys are Raptor fans. If you're listening, is a little bit of change going into this season. A little bit of change. Hall of Famer Kyle Lowry, the GOAT, is gone in a sign and trade package with Miami. We'll get into Goran in a little bit, but that guy's gone. And you know, Prince just needs to find his way. He is struggling a little bit. Nurse has confirmed as much, but Kyle Lowry's gone. We draft 4th overall Scotty Barnes, which we just talked about. Masai resigns. Gary Trent resigns. Like, we still got Nick Nurse. I mean, Pascal is starting to say all the right things finally. So, and then I guess most importantly, and it almost feels like a fever dream, but the Raptors are home. Like, we have home court advantage again, which Toronto Raptor fans know about. Like, we were playing in Tampa and shit. Like, what the hell was that last year?
It was a wasteland, and you nailed it right on the head. We are home. I think that's the biggest X factor to this team, being able to play in front of our home fans, our city. We're the 6 for a reason. Nobody does it better than us, fan-wise. I don't care what you say, NBA.
Agree.
It's just amazing, and I'm sure the players feel it more, knowing that they can go in and day out on the home court and put up the best effort and have the fans cheer them night in and night out. It's an amazing, wonderful thing. Fans rile you up. I don't care what you say. They make a huge difference in terms of energy, and we have it back. So thank you.
Yeah. It's just amazing to have it back at, I guess we'll call it the Scotiabank, which it is now. but it makes a huge difference, and it makes a huge difference for this team, and you can see it on the court production. And by the way, we're just going to get right back into Scotty Barnes, because from the summer, this guy did all the right things as soon as he landed in Toronto, and we talked about it in the pod, and it was some of the positives we were talking about, was those intangibles, the heart, the locker room character guy, the fact that, and I think we brought it up, or maybe I brought it up, but that his shooting at the Raptors development or scouting camp, he looked night and day different. And that's who we're seeing on the court right now, Melk. Like, we were warned about this guy shooting, that it was years away. It doesn't seem like years away.
No, it seems like minutes away. He's dedicated. If you look at him, when it comes to his heart and his tenacity, he wants to be the best. And it's been a long time since I've seen that on a Raptors team. Like, besides like Lowry was the leader. Didn't necessarily was the best. Like, DeMar had like the better skill, but Lowry was the heart and soul.
Shout out to DeMar, Chicago Ball.
Oh man, the Bulls. So we'll get into that later. But like, it's been a long time since like Vince Carter and Chris Bosh, where we've had a guy that wants to be the best. And I think this kid's mindset, his mental toughness, he's on the right track. And with our developmenting team, that's a tongue twister. Sorry, folks.
Yep.
It's only going to get better. We have the best when it comes to developing. Nurse is going to nurture him and make sure he gets the best out of him. And Scotty's going to make sure he gets the best out of Toronto. And the city is going to embrace him. And they've already fallen in love with him.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a match made in heaven. I was wrong. I thought Jalen Suggs, and Suggs is a good player. That Orlando game where you saw them go back and forth, it was pretty close. It's just Scotty Barnes has so many more weapons to his arsenal. And you know what? It was a great pick by Masai. So my hat is tipped to you, buddy.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, everybody preaches it. We've talked about it, just the basketball IQ, his vision on the floor, the way just even defensively too, just intercept passes, the way that he's keeping balls inbound. It's just like those small things. And obviously it's the stuff that coaches fall in love with. Like, you're right. This guy is doing all the right things and he's backing it up with his play. But you know what? 6-3, he can't do it alone as a rookie. So we're going to do a quick shout out also to the team, besides Pascal, who's injured right now. And I think maybe Yuta as well. Yep. Your depth chart right now. Well, on paper, Goran Dragic starter, Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, Precious Achiuwa. I'm butchering that name, but we got Gary Trent, Scotty Barnes, Chris Boucher, and little shout out I want to say as a player is Kem Birch.
Man.
Birch Tree, new nickname. That guy looks the calming, patience type of play he brings on the floor. I'm loving this guy.
It's the quiet toughness. You need those glue guys that just know what to do. He's been around the block, local Canadian guy too, which is even better. And we both advocated to bring him back because when he came over from Orlando, like, Orlando's a fucking wasteland. That's almost where careers go to die. I'm sorry. And him coming over rejuvenated him. It gave him a spark. He's in front of like his home country. And he just does the little things that don't even add up on the stat sheet, but it's so vital for this team. And he's a soldier, and he's a great soldier, and I'm glad he's on our team.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. Shout out Fred. Fred is a heart and soul guy. We all know that, and he's showing that. I mean, this team, I've just been really impressed with the team play. Like, this is Masai basketball. And Nick Nurse is the perfect coach for this team.
I'm never going to doubt Masai again. I am actually sorry.
When did you?
I doubted him with the pick. I mean, I've never doubted his basketball mind.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's a genius. Like, let's face it, there's a reason New York and other places wanted him.
Yeah.
But like, grabbing Barnes and seeing that, hey, the game is actually evolving into something else besides the 3-point shot. Big ups to him. Big ups to Bobby Webster. Big ups to the entire Raptors family.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty like just looking now at their schedule to the Raptors. So we played the Wizards, obviously, but the Knicks 113-104, Pacers 97-94, Magic, like you said, the game for 110-109, Pacers 118-100, Bulls we lost 111-108 when DeMar came into town, and we'll talk about him later when we talk about the general NBA.
Scary team, man.
Yeah,
Scary team.
And a team that obviously I think is fucking falling apart, though, Boston Celtics. We beat them as well, man. And like this team is showing against not just shit teams, but at the start that I think there's a real discussion around the league that, they're going to be a serious threat every single night.
They're going to work hard. That's the thing that stood out to me is they might not have the flashiest names.
Yeah.
But they're going to work hard. Nick Nurse and the coaching staff will make sure they hustle on every play. They scrap. They, fight for claw for every ball. They are going to compete every night, and you're seeing it right now. Off the jump, 6-3. I did not expect them to go 6-3, and it's actually a nice segue to our expectations of the team.
You took it right out of my mouth. Out of my
mouth. I did not expect this. They look great. They're getting scoring from everyone possible. Everyone's doing especially Gary Trent. Woo, 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 woo. I said when we traded Norm, I'm like, we're getting rid of Norm, who's been a great player for us, but you're getting a potential superstar.
Yeah.
And that's why you make that trade. So having said that, I still have this team at 40-42. I have them in the 10th spot. So they're in the play-in. And they're going to compete. Like I said, teams are going to hate playing against us. Especially when Pascal comes back, there's just even more length added to the team. The problem is you're a young team.
Yeah.
And although OG and Pascal and Freddie are your vets, but they're young vets. They're not even in their 30s. So I think it's going to be an uphill battle. They're going to fight and claw. I hope I'm wrong. I honestly, you know what? I hope they get a top 6 spot. But I think it's going to be very hard this season. Look out for them 2 years from now. Whew.
Yeah.
2 years from now, this team is
ridiculous.
Going to be scary good. But as of right now, I have them a couple games under 500 in that 10th spot. So it's going to be a successful season just because there's no real expectations. Dragic is getting out the door. He needs to go quickly. He's just a detriment to the team, and there's a reason he's not playing. And my breakout player is Gary Trent.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as you love length, you need shooting, and he's the best shooter on the team. He's poised to have a career year. He's already second in steals. Yeah. I didn't expect him to play defense.
Dude, I was sending you those fucking memes about him, the Gary Trent, this guy, and he won me over as soon as the trade. We were both saying that, and yet I will totally give you the vote there. What you were saying when we traded Norm, you were on that wagon. So, I'm pretty much in complete agreement with you. It's kind of funny. I was going to bring up my papers and laugh to you.
I was just going to ask you, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I've got them 10th as well. I've got them in the play-in, actually, which is funny. And I was wrestling between 39 and 40 wins, and I went 39 because they're expected, fans, before you hate on us for being under 500, their expected is 36.5 wins on the season.
Yeah.
And in saying that, it took Detroit 41 to get into the playoffs. The East has only gotten better, everyone. I hate to tell you this. And we're going to talk power rankings later. So Melky is completely right when he says that it is going to be a very, very challenging battle all season. But I think the Raptors are in for a good fight. And you're right. I hope I'm wrong. There could be some crazy things. Boston seems like it could possibly be imploding. Philadelphia is possibly the biggest wild card in the entire NBA. Who knows with that organization, what they're actually going to do this year. I think the top 3 are completely locked up. We'll talk about that later, but we have the same 3. And then, so do I think that they could move definitely the 7th, 8th? Yeah. Maybe the Knicks start falling behind. Maybe a lot of people, I was, watching ESPN and First Take and all this stuff, preparing for the show with you over the last few weeks. And is Atlanta for real? Was that just a fluke because of the weird seasons, So I do have them 39 wins. They're going to be 10 playing very strong. And my breakout player of the year is Scotty fucking Barnes. And I'm going to tell you why, because I think he's a serious consideration for rookie of the year.
Right now, he's number 1 in rookie scoring.
Yes. So
Like he just does everything. And the thing is, he does things that you won't see on the stat sheets either.
exactly.
So it
I
makes him even more valuable.
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny too because like I was saying, you took the words out of my mouth. I originally wanted Gary Trent. Like I've been on the Gary Trent hype train. I'm sending you all those memes, whatever. But this kid completely won me over. And I you know what? I'm not gonna pretend because you can go back. It's recorded. I was not a fan of not taking Suggs, but I was willing to give this kid a chance because, you know, I'm a blue collar Toronto Canadian fan like most of us Raptors. Like we just love heart. Like that's the thing about this city. Toronto's a big city, but when you come here, we want you to play like we're a small blue collar town in a way, and not the white collar. So we love heart, and this guy brings it. I think he's going to be the breakout of the year, and he's going to show why you're right that in 2 years, 3 years, you better fucking watch out, especially with some of the retirements and injuries and different things coming along in the years. Like Toronto's going to be, and we've got Masai long haul. That was every single episode I asked that question to you. What's going on with Masai? Should we be worried? Should we be worried? It's getting December, January, February, March. So and you're right. Again, I mean, I'm going to keep pumping your tires this episode, but low expectations, like complete low expectations. I didn't have them making the playoffs.
No, I
But
didn't.
after preseason and after the start to the season and actually just like finally kind of getting back all as well, now that they were home in the summer, we were more following the team closely. Like it felt like they were back and everything was back to normal, just seeing all the Instagram posts and all that stuff, all the on Reddit, whatever. So let's go. I have them 10th. It's going to be a struggle and I hope for more, but yeah, similar expectations.
I'm not shocked.
Okay, what else do you want to add for the Raptors? Are we ready to move on yet? Because I mean, we can pump the tires a long time. Like we just did expectations. Obviously, there's how do you want to do this? Team predictions was pretty much wrapped into it.
Well, let me ask you this. Is there a trade? Let's just say the Raptors actually exceed expectations and they're fighting for that sixth, seventh, or let's say sixth or fifth spot. Because basically, if you're in the play-in, anything can happen, right? It's a one-game play-in. So if they're battling for that, is there a trade you see they can make with? Because they have a lot of depth, especially at the forward spot.
I
With
know.
like everyone basically being 6'9", 6'8", 6'9". Is there a trade they can make that could push them over the hump and maybe make them, I wouldn't say like a championship contender, but a threat in the playoffs?
I was wondering about this too, and I was going to say that might be a kind of a difference maker where we're out of the play-in if you know Masai pulls some magic at the trade deadline or even before. And then I'm wondering like what's the position? I guess what point guard because Goran's out the door. So then really who's available? Like that's kind of the otherwise, you know, Pascal's going to be back, so we'll have Pascal, OG, Fred, and right now, I mean, Precious is the starting center, but we got Chris,
Actually,
Kem Birch.
actually, you just said something that actually that gave me goosebumps. Pascal's coming back and they said 2 weeks, right?
Yeah,
Who goes to the bench? So your starters right now are Freddie, Gary Trent, Barnes, OG Barnes, and I think Kem Birch took over for Precious.
yeah.
Pascal's obviously going to start. There's no way he's coming off the bench unless like they're tinkering and they're like, okay, we'll give you limited minutes, come off the bench to start. But when he's ready, who's going to the bench?
Man, because I'm looking at the raw like the depth chart now, so I don't know. Oh man, see, because you could maybe move Fred to point, and then that opens up, and you could keep Gary. So I think, oh, you can't take out Barnes. So is it Gary?
They, I think Gary should start. And I was actually pissed that Dragic got the start in the first two games because
They wanted to
Goran,
see what they have with him. That was all that.
and I understand that, but you could still have him as the six man.
Yep, dude.
Like
I
I
don't
think
want him
Trent
on
is
the team.
well, he's not going to be here longer. He hasn't played in what 3 or 4 games now,
3 games, yeah.
even 5 games or whatever it is. And he deserves to be on the bench for what he said. So karma's a bitch. But Gary Trent deserves a start. I'm sorry. You need a guy who can just flat out go off whenever, and not a guy like off the bench. You need a two guard and he plays defense. I had no idea how great his defense was. And you got Freddie at the point, you got Gary at the two spot. So there's your two guards. OG or Barnes. I think Barnes is playing the 3 and OG's at the 4. You can interchange that, and then Kem's at the 5. Somebody's got to go. Somebody's got to go to the bench. So does Kem go to the bench, and you move Pascal at the center, but it's more like it's just a bunch of forwards running down the floor? Do you move Barnes? You can't take Barnes. I'm sorry, the way Barnes is playing right now.
That's what I'm saying. That was one I was going to say. He was going to be one of my few options with Gary, but you can't.
You can't, and you can't take OG off because it's a loyalty thing, and you signed him to that deal because you see him as a piece in the future. So, and you're definitely not taking Fred off. Fred is the leader. He's the vocal leader and the leader in the locker room. So there's no way you're taking Fred out. So then it is either Trent or Kem. That's the way I see it. Until like Barnes maybe like isn't as hot. What do you do in that case?
Yeah, that's actually such a difficult question because you're right, he doesn't deserve it. But I go back to Trent because it's almost like you need Birch on the floor at that position. So just with the way our team is designed, that's fucked. Yeah, so I guess I go back to my original. I guess it would be Gary unless Barnes does regress and you don't want him to be as in the spotlight or anything. But the way he's playing now, you can't. So yeah, I guess it's Gary. But I don't know. It could be a rotational thing.
Yeah, I think I'd have to at this point until like someone gives you a reason to have him come off.
Play who's hot. I guess I guess. And you know what? I have faith too in Nick's roster. Like the way he designs the team game in, game out. So,
which brought me to my other question.
Okay.
If there's a trade you need to make to bolster this team, because you have a huge plethora of forwards, of 6'9", 6'8" guys, plus Gordon. You know Gordon's gone. Like you need to, that contract's coming out the books.
Yeah, and folks, we're not going to be getting that special player for Goran.
No. He would be a part of, but he'd be a part of a package, right? Like it would. So I'm trying to think, like, who would push the needle, so to speak. But you know what? Don't answer that now. Okay. Let's wait. Okay. Let's wait until like maybe 2 episodes from now.
Yeah, good call. Because it's, you can't really. I don't even want to say anybody with the way they're playing either.
No need. Let's switch to another team.
Okay, so folks, we are going to be switching, but just a little recap: 6-3. The Raptors are buzzing, and it is a great time to be a Raptors fan because we all believe the plan. Like literally within 5 years, I think we're going for another ship.
It's very possible this team's competing in the next 2 or 3 years.
Done. Okay, so we're going to move on to a little bit of individual talk. We're going to get into kind of teams a bit later, but we're going to start off with 2 big scenarios that have been all over the basketball world. And the first one is quickly Kyrie Irving. So Kyrie, basketball.
Hold on. Before you, let me see if this works.
Okay. Oh boy. I don't hear anything.
One more time.
Nope. No, nothing.
Okay.
Complete radio.
It was the dun dun dun. All right, buddy. Go ahead.
Yeah, so because Kyrie Irving doesn't believe in the vaccination and doesn't have it, he's no longer really a part of the Brooklyn Nets going forward as of now. He's not playing. He hasn't started. Steve Nash and the rest of the team has pretty much come out and said as such that they're playing without him in mind and without their game plans, and they're moving forward. So, Melky, how do you feel about Kyrie and his situation right now and the next step in a long line of decisions Kyrie makes for Kyrie?
He's a selfish jerk. Kyrie is for Kyrie. This whole cause, this whole political stance against the vaccine or this Malcolm X wannabe. It is not for the people. He doesn't care about the people. He's doing this because he was promised an exemption. And unfortunately, the Nets don't control the city of New York. And mandates are mandates, and they're mandates for a reason. So Kyrie is a selfish prick who decided, I'm not going to get the vaccine because I don't want to. And Kyrie's used to getting what he wants. And right now he's not getting it because the Nets have no control over that. So Kyrie decides, I'm going to take a political stance and say it's for the people that are losing their jobs based on this vaccination. That is a bunch of bullshit, because where were you 5 months ago before these mandates came out? You didn't say anything about the people then. So you don't care about them. You're full of shit. You need to take your basketball and stay the fuck home.
Okay, so really no feeling whatsoever on the situation.
No, very little.
Yeah, unfortunately for Kyrie, this is a mandate, and you work for a business essentially, and they are going to give you rules. And if you're not going to follow, this is what's going to happen, all politics aside. So you're right. Kyrie is used to getting his way, and all this based on, this vaccine. And Aaron Rodgers now is kind of similar situation in the NFL. It's just
divas.
Yeah, Kyrie, you know what? If this was the one thing and this was his one stance, fine, maybe. But like I said before, you said your piece. It's just another in a long list of reasons. Like, you just knew going in. Like, are you surprised going into this situation of any NBA player that it would be Kyrie we're talking about in this?
No, not at all. And the fact he keeps stating, I was promised this, I was promised that. Okay, let's say for argument's sake you were. I actually believe they said, we'll work around this.
Yeah.
Until the official mandate came out. So why don't you? Basketball's a team sport, right?
Yeah.
Be a team player. Get your damn vaccination. You're not going to grow a third toe or a fifth toe or a sixth toe. Sorry. I only have 3. No, I'm just kidding. You're not going to grow a sixth toe or an extra arm, or your head. Actually, your head's already swollen enough, so I don't think that's possible for it to swell even more. They have these rules for a reason, and the vaccination, you're not just doing it for yourself, you're doing it for your fellow man, so that we can get back to some normalcy. And Kyrie, you're basically sacrificing a championship. You went to Brooklyn with KD to win a championship, but apparently this stance is more important than winning a championship. And on top of that, if I'm KD, that's friendship termination right there. I don't care if we're boys. If we're boys, then we set out to win a title together. And you back out because you don't want to get something done because you just care about yourself. I don't believe a word Kyrie says. He's a flippin' liar.
Yeah, and I wouldn't blame KD for that too. I think that the friendship was like tenuous at best. Like, I mean, it was pretty much just one guy just like hoping this one guy would get his shit together, gets him to come over, and it just hasn't worked out. But I'm going to pull a you, and I have a question for you, Melk.
Perfect.
Do you think Kyrie's going to play this season?
See, I thought about that long and hard too. I think he's the only guy that would actually sit out to prove a point. So I don't see him lacing up his sneakers and getting on the hardwood this season. I don't see it, unless I've heard that there's a running for New York, and I heard the one of the parties is revisiting the mandate. So if he gets elected, maybe there's a slim chance, but I honestly don't see him putting on a jersey this season. What about you?
I'm actually going to agree with you. I would be very, very surprised to hear Kyrie come out and say that he got the vaccine and that he was ready to play. Like, I hope he does. Well, actually, no, I don't hope he. I hope he fucking sits out the whole time. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. I think it's fucking great. So, but I'm going to agree with you. Like, I would be actually shocked. We will do a shout out on the pod and be like, wow, this guy actually did it. Okay, kudos to you. And you're going to play b-ball. You're probably going to get a couple of games before he pulls his next fucking stunt is the only thing.
I just don't think he can afford to backtrack his stance because he's already given a reason and he's already missed a bunch of games. So he would look like the biggest jackass if he went and got his vaccination.
Okay, so then last point on Kyrie is if he does play again, is it with the Nets? Do you see a trade scenario? Like, are they just sick and tired of him? Is that over, or they're just hoping and praying that he comes back and that it's going to be okay? Or
I'm calling Portland.
For Dame?
For Dame. Straight up, 1-for-1. I mean,
Awesome.
Unless you want to make it interesting.
Why would Portland do that?
Why would Portland do that? Because there's rumblings Dame was chilling with LeBron and AD. There's rumors he wants to be in New York. There are so many different rumors going around, and Dame always says the right things, and I give kudos to Dame on his professionalism. Kyrie, you should take notes. But you only play in this league for so long, and you're only at your best for so long. Dame wants to win a title. You think Dame, Harden, and Durant together is not going to get him? It's going to be filthy.
That's fucked.
And I'm sure the Nets will give the sun and the moon and whatever else they have to do to Portland to sweeten the deal. But I'm calling because I don't want Dame going to Philly, which is our next guy that we're going to talk about.
Great transition, because I was about to say, moving on to a bigger fucking idiot, possibly the biggest idiot diva in any sport right now outside of maybe Neymar. Ben Simmons, Philadelphia 76ers, worst player on the team, who apparently in his mind holds all the cards, because this guy is a complete clown. Declares he doesn't want to be in Philly. Guess what? You're not worth as much as you thought. Plus, your GM's an idiot. What he's asking for, but maybe it's as a fuck you to you. I think that'd be great if he came out and he said, "Yeah, I asked for the moon just as like I knew I wasn't going to get it. Whatever." And he's even said if it takes 4 or 5 years, he will wait this out. So that's fantastic on his part. Then guess what? You actually, without telling anybody, they find out you are in Philly and you are going to report. And then when you report, you're in sweatpants and you're chilling on your cell phone and you're doing everything you possibly can to tell the fans and, more importantly, your teammates, who, like, they're your teammates, and you're just telling them, I don't give a shit. I can't stress enough that this guy is the one player I want as far away from the Raptors this season as possible. I never want to see him in the uniform. This guy, trade him to an LA team. I don't even care if he wins or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. Get him into his reality show spotlight he wants. I would love if they sent him somewhere absolute shit. Like he goes to Charlotte. Go ahead. But this guy is a clown, Melky. I've expressed my feelings multiple times to you, and you back to me. I kind of know where you're going to go with this, and I think you might agree with me.
Who's the bigger clown, him or Kyrie?
Dude, Ben Simmons.
I actually disagree. I think Kyrie's the bigger joke, but
Kyrie is a lifelong, like, Krusty the Clown. Like, on syndication. But Ben Simmons right now,
it's the battery and light bulb show.
Ben Simmons does like the Evel Knievel of stupidity. It's in the spotlight and we see it. So it's more like, makes me more pissed off, where Kyrie is in the shadows and just doing like ignorant stuff or just like saying dumb shit, where I'm just like, all right, I don't have time for this. I'm not a Nets fan. I hope he stays out. Simmons bothers me because I don't want him near the Raptors, and there's been rumors.
Yeah, there will always be rumors because he is a different type of talent. I think with Ben, it's his feelings got hurt. That's the difference.
Of course it did.
His feelings got hurt, and people have a hard time looking in the mirror and admitting when it's their fault, or part of it is their fault. And the playoff run was definitely, especially it was a game 7.
Yeah.
Definitely his fault. When you give up an open layup and dish it out.
We talked about it on the pod. I mean, it was one of the most cowardly NBA moments I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
And this guy's a former what? First overall?
First overall. And yeah, your coach throws you under the bus and the best player on the team throws you under the bus. Should that have not been said? Probably should have happened under behind closed doors. Having said that, get tougher skin. Yeah. There are ways around it. Like you could have avoided this. Like Daryl Morey probably wouldn't be so vengeful or spiteful if you handled this accordingly. You're a little crybaby. Why don't you work on your shooting and your game so that you can back it up, and then you don't have this problem happening instead of whining and crying that you want out of Philly, and you think a fresh start's going to help you. If you can't shoot, you can't shoot. If you can't hit free throws, you can't hit free throws. A different change of scenery isn't going to help that. Like, yeah, you can go to Sacramento. Would you rather lose for the rest of your career in Sacramento?
Yeah.
Because
like,
you're not getting
send them to Sacktown, man.
You're not getting traded to the destinations you want. You're not going to LA. You're not going to either LA spots. I'm sorry. You're not going. I mean, the best case scenario would be trade one head problem for another. Kyrie for Ben. But they don't want to do that because you know why? I actually think Ben's relationship with the Sixers can be mended. I actually think there were rumors. Oh no, there wasn't rumors. There's facts. After he got tossed out of practice,
okay,
for refusing to,
which I was going to shout out that Doc kicked him out, which is
Doc doesn't take shit from anyone. After getting tossed from practice for refusing to take part in a defensive drill, the next day he had a meeting with Morey, Doc, and the team to clear the air. And he said, mentally, I'm not there. And so I don't know the full details of what was discussed, but mentally he's not there. I think with rehabilitation and him looking in the mirror, they can mend whatever fence is left and go try and win a title. Because if not, I'm sorry, Ben, you're going to be sent to probably the worst places in the NBA because Morey is not going to give you away.
Yeah. Unfortunately for him, he plays in Philly, and the fans are never going to stop letting you know that. And as an Eagles fan, trust me, I know. But the craziest part is you're right, man. Like these guys are still so young, and the game is there. You can see it in his defense and the way he is on the court. That like if he actually got it together, if he's just always been mentally soft. Like I just
Sharman's.
I don't see him getting out of this. And although surprising, I do, you kind of have won me over. I do kind of agree that I think he could mend relationships with Philly. And if he started to play and he went on just a heater, yeah, I think a lot could be forgiven because Philly fans were like starting to, before this recent bullshit, but they were starting to be like, all right, whatever, but he kind of blew that.
What cures everything?
Yeah, talent and fucking winning.
Thank you. So you don't think if he actually accepts he's the number 2 on the team and it runs through Joel and he learns how to shoot, you don't have to shoot threes. I'm sorry. But a mid-range, you're a point guard. You're 6'10". You don't mean to tell me when you grew up playing the game of basketball, you didn't learn how to shoot a jump shot?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And free throws have been a part of the game since, I don't want to say the dawn of time, but since, the early inception. You mean to tell me you didn't, in college and on the playground, you didn't shoot free throws? Bro, these are fundamental skills you need to have to succeed. Learn to do them and you'll be okay.
He reminds me of, and like, even we've always played with guys like this too, where they're like so fucking good at the game that they don't have to try at it. And when you're growing up and you're playing dusters like you and I and Kevin, all that, it's great because you just wipe the floor and that's what gets you to a career. Ben Simmons was a first overall, and growing up, I mean, this guy dominated. Like, it's there, but it's just like he didn't really have to, like, it was just came so easy, so natural to him, to now that any kind of adversity, and the fact that he's in Philadelphia and he blows like a game 7, and the pressure is on, the media is getting to him, and if he's a diva like everyone says he is, and it looks like he is, he's probably on social media constantly reading the comments. Like, just mentally, dude, this guy is soft to begin with. I just don't see it.
You're playing in a league of men. It's not a league of boys. Toughen up.
Okay, enough with these clowns. Okay, honk honk. Time for a little bit of celebration. A little bit of celebration, because it's the 75th anniversary, and there is nothing that the NBA loves more than bringing out lists. They do it every 2 or 3 years, everybody, and it creates controversy, and it's great to read. So we have the 75th anniversary team. And there's a little bit of a controversy to this one. I know Klay Thompson thinks he should be on that list, but I want to know from you, Melky, are there any snubs that you can think of?
Oh, yeah.
Or do you agree with the list? And I can tell, yeah, I'm going to agree. I have a few too.
For the most part, I agree with the list, but there's one that stands out in particular, and it's not Klay Thompson, actually. You might know him. He still plays in the league. Been with the Lakers twice now.
Dwight Howard,
Mr. Magic.
So glad you that's my number one circled.
How do you not have this man on that list? He owned the league from 2007 to 2012.
Yeah.
Was an NBA champion. His career stats: 16.1 points, 12.1 rebounds. He's played 1,185 games. He's a career 56% free throw shooter and 58.7 field goal percentage shooter. You're going to talk about domination. This man was the icon. This guy was the definition of domination, and did it with a sense of humor and a sense of raw power that nobody thought he'd get to. I remember when he was drafted. He's out of high school, right? I think he's out of high school, and people thought there could be potential, but he's got to work on fundamentals. Plus, he had that clown. We're talking about clowns. He had that clown. The coach in Orlando looks like Mario.
Oh,
Stan Van Gundy.
Yeah, Van Gundy, fucking loudmouth.
Who he used to rag on, which he did the best Van Gundy impression. But come on, like how do you leave him off? Like I'm sorry, Bill Walton does not deserve to be on that list. Yeah. I think he's way better player than Bill Walton, and no disrespect to Bill Walton, but come on.
I just think it's like a lot of recency bias. I'm not denying that Anthony Davis has the potential to be fucking great, but like, how do you put some of these guys' names on this list and you don't have fucking Dwight Howard? And there's a couple of names too you can throw out there: Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Derrick Rose. Like, there's some guys snubbed from this list that are serious contention for, because of some massive names that played with them at the same time. They're not getting the recognition they deserve. Like, I don't like some of these names. Like, man, the Dwight Howard one was a real noticeable.
That was the first name.
Yeah. And I think everybody can agree with that too. Like, I mean, just how many All-Stars, Defensive Players of the Year. I mean, the fact when this guy was Superman, like this guy, he was spotlight. Like, he was the NBA.
He was the face for a while. Like they had, you have your group of guys that are the face. He is the face. He threw a ball in the net for his dunk.
Yeah.
Like, how impressive is that? So I don't know, man. Like I said, Bill Walton does not deserve to be on there, and there's a couple other guys that don't deserve it. But I'm interested to hear, who do you have? I know you had him at 1, but who else did you have on that list?
Of snubs?
Yeah, snubs. Yeah.
Yeah, so that I was kind of referencing. So I had Manu Ginobili, Derrick Rose, Tony Parker.
Yeah.
Like, there's a couple of names. Here's the thing. It was like I was trying to avoid going with classic NBA because I can only watch so much NBA highlights and form my own opinion. Like, I can go by more guys that I've watched live since 2009. Like, so that's why Dwight Howard was obviously the biggest stick out. But it's these guys who are part of the Chris Webber team and stuff like that. Like, there's just some real, like, I don't know. NBA, but the good news is in 2 years we're gonna have a new list.
Oh, absolutely. So bring it on.
Anybody else you have besides Dwight?
Uh,
I know there's so many, and they didn't even
there
rank
was
me.
so
They did it in alphabetical order and shit too, which is so ridiculous. And they did it purposely not to number it.
of course they did. They're a bunch of bastards.
Yeah.
No, like I think Dwight just stood out to me. Like he just epitomized basketball, like in the paint basketball, and he is probably the next big thing to Shaq.
Yep.
Like Shaq was that powerful and that dominant, and then Dwight was right after. Well, not right after, but a little later on. Dwight was the one that was so raw and powerful. I remember. I don't know if you remember when the Raptors played the Magic in the playoffs, and it was Dwight versus Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh looked like a child compared to Dwight Howard.
Yeah. That he was I just always remember, man, just he was so jacked and so massive on the floor and just like such a commanding presence. And then you talk about Shaq and stuff when he went to the Lakers, like that was supposed to be the big thing. And just I don't know. He's one of those guys too where the NBA especially, but other sports, rings and championships mean so much. And you're always like overshadowed by the 6, and the 5. So it's like it's hard for some of these guys to get the recognition. And now it's like the NBA is not even giving it to them.
There's a lot of guys on that list that don't have rings. Dame doesn't have a ring.
Yep.
Yeah, that one stood out to me. Like I love Dame. Dame is a fucking.
We just praised him 20 minutes ago. Yeah,
Dame's box office, but he doesn't have a ring.
Yeah,
Dwight has a ring. Just saying.
Oh, and then and quickly shout out Gooby. Dwayne Wade's on the list. Don't even worry. Don't even worry.
He can sleep soundly knowing.
Yeah, he can sleep soundly. Okay. I say it's move on time because the next segment we have, Melky, classic. We started last season doing this as well. We're doing drumroll predictions. End of season predictions. And yes, the predictions don't mean anything right now because we are only 8 to 9 games in the season. Everything's going to change. I still believe because of the condensed schedules, we're going to see a ton of injuries this year. I really think that's going to be a talking point in the future. Having said that, we're going to start by naming East and the West are 10. And Melky, we're going to start in the East, buddy, and I'm going to have you do the first, and then I'll do West.
Sure. All right. So Eastern Conference.
Yes, sir.
I've got the defending champs in the number 1 spot. They're going to get it together.
I'm writing it beside mine so I follow along. Okay.
I got the Brooklyn Nets at number 2. James Harden and Kevin Durant. I'm not betting against those two. Got the Miami Heat. Kyle Lowry's new area code at number 3. And my number 4. And remember how I had that one team last year that I guess I was on the bandwagon. They're called the Phoenix Suns. I have a new one this year. The Chicago Bulls at number 4.
Wow.
Number 4. They're going to be my new Phoenix Suns this season.
Okay.
Number 5, we're going to go with the Philadelphia 76ers. Ben is coming back. He's going to get back into the fold. They're going to be in the top 5.
Okay.
Going 6, New York Knicks. I just think they have depth. I don't like them 100%, but I like them better than some of the other teams.
Okay.
I got the Atlanta Hawks at number 7.
Okay.
I've got the Charlotte Hornets at number 8, and I like the Hornets. And Ball, LaMelo.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, this guy, I mean, yeah, he can't dress to save his life, and that suit was horrendous. The car was nice, but he has no fear. I admire that about him. So I got Charlotte at number 8. I got Washington at number 9. And as I said earlier, I got the Toronto Raptors at number 10.
Wow, not bad. Not bad. And you had Bucks 3?
Bucks at number 1.
Bucks 1.
Yeah, Bucks 1.
Nets 2, Heat 3.
I had Bucks 1, Nets 2, Miami 3, Chicago 4, Philly 5, New York 6, Atlanta 7, Charlotte 8, Washington 9, Toronto 10.
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, so somewhat pretty similar. So yeah, I've got Milwaukee at number 1. I think
Yep.
Giannis, he's going to be in serious contention. Little spoiler alert, but he's going to be in serious contention for MVP again. And the team is just as strong, even though they lost guys like PJ Tucker and whatnot, which is still a surprise to me. Number 2, I got Miami.
Oh, you've got the Heat.
I have full faith in Lowry. I believe it. Jimmy Butler is a real stud. You're going to have to know if Harrow and these other guys are going to be able to step up, and I think that they're going to, and you're going to see it close, but I have them too. That leads to Brooklyn being number 3, and this is going to be going up and down all season. I don't think Harden's going to play. Durant's another guy who I always have up there for MVP consideration. I think he's going to have a crazy year. Now, wild card random. If they get Dame.
Yep.
If they move to second, possibly maybe first for me. Just on a absolute throw it out there, okay?
If they get Dame, it's game over. Everybody else may as well pack it in. Just give the Larry O'Brien trophy to Brooklyn.
Okay, so number 4, I have Philly, but I had them possibly without Ben Simmons. I still think they're going to be 4. This team, if everyone forgets, was number 1 in the East last year. Joel Embiid is real, and Doc's a regular season coach. I see no reason why, and if they get Simmons back, then it's for sure that they're a top 4 team. So I see Philly not really regressing that much. Number 5, Chicago. Hell yeah. DeMar is looking like the perfect 1B, 2A player.
Mm-hmm.
And going to that organization with his history and the fans that have been suffering, not that I'm the biggest Chicago fan, but we were all Jordan bandwagoners.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's crazy to see what he's doing. So I've got Chicago there. And then next, I've got the Knicks. Okay.
Yeah,
They're looking pretty.
spot.
Yep, they're looking pretty nice. I like RJ and the Canadian connection. I'm glad what the Raptors did to them the other night. So,
It's fantastic.
Yeah, but they're going to keep it up. Like, they're the real deal. And having guys like Kemba on the team and everything now, like, it's a real difference in that locker room. So, and then after that, I've got Atlanta. I don't have them necessarily going as far in the playoffs, but Trey, I still believe in Trey. Like, he won me over. He won both of us over in the playoffs. So I've got Atlanta, and then it's going to be the Pacers.
They got the Pacers. Ooh, that's a stretch.
Yeah.
Okay.
At 8, and then 9, Charlotte, and then 10, Raptors. And there's about 3 arrows between Pacers and Charlotte going back and forth between 8 and 9. So you can switch them out. And then I did, like I said earlier, I've got Raptors going 10.
Yeah, I can't argue with that list. It's once you get past, I think like 5 and 6, it's interchangeable, right?
Yeah.
Injuries play a huge part. I got a mind-blowing possible scenario for you.
Okay.
Because I don't think Atlanta is going to do much this season either. So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
But what if they traded for Ben Simmons and you had Ben Simmons with Trae Young as your backcourt?
Oh, man.
You have the pieces. Collins, obviously, you have to give up, and maybe Cam Reddish. And you have the draft capital because you haven't been good in a long time. So I know you've got some stash picks somewhere.
Yeah, but man, I just don't see, that scares me too, because with that Atlanta chemistry and bringing in Ben, I could see him coming into that team and thinking he's still the number 1 guy. That scares me. But
he wouldn't have to be the number 1. He would just have to be the facilitator.
Yeah.
And Trae Young can just be Trae Young.
Yeah. I actually never thought about that trade. It's not bad.
It's interesting. If I'm Atlanta, I think it was storybook last year.
Yeah.
I don't think they're ever getting back to the
yes, I agree with you.
The Eastern Finals or NBA championship anytime soon. You have Trae Young, and then you have a bunch of pieces.
Yeah.
A lot of teams have at least 2 cornerstones. So it's just something they should think about.
Okay. I agree with you. So moving on now, we're going to be doing the Western Conference playoffs. And my prediction for the 10. Okay, so number 1, I got the Lakers. And I hate to say it, and whatever, I'm going to say right now, I don't have them winning the championship, so screw them. But I do have them finishing first in the West. It's going to be close. Number 2, I got Utah Jazz. They're going to still be the same team. They're going to run that same plan. I think they're going to still be dominant in the West. A little bit of bandwagonish, and we didn't even talk about they released this year's like jerseys.
Oh God.
Utah Phoenix kept the same.
Yeah.
So unreal. Like some of them are nice, and I will only nice thing I'll say about Lakers is those purples with the blue are really nice this year. I actually like them.
They're interesting.
Yeah, they're
Melky might be adding it to his collection.
Yeah, okay. I'm seriously thinking about doing the Phoenix because it was so hard to find any Utah Jazz stuff anywhere. Apparently, nobody buys Utah Jazz stuff.
That's why they're picked last.
Yeah. Okay. Number 3, I got Denver. Now, as far as I'm aware, there's no timetable on Jamal Murray. Like, what are we looking at?
There hasn't been any news really on his update. Hopefully, he's better.
I have an asterisk on this one, and it's with Jamal Murray.
Yeah, that's all contingent on Jamal appearing, but they still have a stacked team. Like
exactly.
They have Gordon, they have Porter Jr. just signed his new deal. I think he needs you just signed like basically a max contract or close to it. Okay, time to step up.
Yeah.
Put up or shut up.
I agree. And that was a big point we said last year too. So I don't know, man. They had, when Jamal was in the lineup, they maybe had the best all around squad in the NBA, or at least fighting for it. And they had a real chance. So
the best pick roll tandem too.
Yep. Okay. So next up, I've got Phoenix Suns. Bandwagon buddy over here. I mean, they re-signed Chris Paul, massive contract, but those young guys, Booker, Ayton, like that team's on a roll and they're not going to stop. So I've got them there. Next up, the LA Clippers. This is a team that's a big question mark for me because what Kawhi are they getting back and when are they getting him back? And that could be a huge difference because if Kawhi comes back, Raptors Kawhi, and Paul George is continuing from the playoff, taking a more leadership role in that typical Clippers team, they could definitely move up the charts. And I think I could seriously be wrong. And then following that up, got Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
After that, a team that I honestly, man, I almost had these guys in the top 5, Golden State Warriors.
Oh, yeah.
I think with Steph Curry, like Klay Thompson, this team right now, I think that they could make a real comeback this year. I truly do. I think that you could see some real, and how everybody's fucking up with the new basketball, and Steph's just going to keep being Steph. So Golden State, I can see making a real push.
He needs to learn how to score in the fourth quarter, though.
Yeah. And then I've got Memphis after that. And then just kind of a loss. Yeah. And then after that, I've got New Orleans.
The Pelicans?
Yeah.
With an overweight.
I just want you to make the overweight joke. Yes. Yes, they're going to be the play-in. Shaq and Charles's love child.
Oh, my God. Did I send you that? Or
yeah.
That I couldn't stop laughing. He does look like their love child. Yeah. No, he's too fat to play right now. I'm sorry. You're not. And I love the team. But he has to be at least 300 pounds right now or pushing 300. And you're supposed to come back in 2 weeks. Now, I know you got trainers throughout.
Yeah.
And everything at your fingertips, but put the fucking fork down, man. Like, stop eating everything on Bourbon Street. Stop it. Just stop it.
Okay. And then finally for the West. And then who was the team? Oh, yeah. Portland.
As your 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the bottom 3, like just all asterisks beside them, interchangeable. But yeah, barring trades and whatever, I mean, if hopefully that team's not just completely stripped alive by the end of the season, which I think there's a good chance they might, and then that's done for them.
That's all she wrote.
Yeah.
Your list, I like your list. I think you went a little safe.
I definitely did.
Yeah. But so get ready for mine because.
Okay.
Mine's pretty interesting. Your
Right.
middles are
Yeah.
pretty much like mine. Like,
Okay.
but my number one,
Yeah.
Golden State Warriors.
Oh, dude, awesome. Fuck.
Number
I
one,
went way too safe.
Golden State Warriors are back. Clay is coming soon.
Good for
I
you.
think Golden State, these guys are getting up there. This is probably the last hurrah for them to do something. Have a 1 or 2 year window with this group. You also have a vaccinated Andrew Wiggins. I don't know if that counts for anything.
Great call. I love it.
But I got G State at number one.
Fucking
My
A.
number two team, Utah Jazz. Can't argue with them. Fundamentally sound, play defense. Rudy Gobert impresses me every year. MVP candidate right now, which is pretty scary. I love Spider, aka D Mitch. I hate their jerseys though. They need to do something about that color scheme. Fire whomever is in charge of that shit. Let me do it, or let Bah and I do it. We'll make it better in Utah. Number three, Denver Nuggets. Again, all contingent on Jamal Murray, but this team has the possible makeup to be the best team in the NBA with what they have. It just losing Jamal Murray killed them and it derailed them. But if he can get back to like 80% Jamal Murray, they'll go far enough. Number four, your Los Angeles Lakers. You know why I have them number four? Because when Russell Westbrook or Westbrick fires those shots and hits the backboard harder than you and I could ever fucking do it. I'm sorry, man. That's a cause of concern. I just, besides the big three, what else do you have? I can't trust a group of guys that have to rely on Metamucil day in and day out. I just can't do it. So I got them at number four. Number five, the sun is shining in Phoenix. I got the Phoenix Suns. Nice team. I think they're going to take a step back. They should have won the title. They pissed me off when they didn't. So for that, you go to number five. Number six, my favorite football team, not my favorite basketball team, the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas needs to trade Porzingis.
Yes.
Only then they can actually move forward. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in that middle of the pack. As good as Luka is, he needs supporting cast.
Just a black hole right now for them.
Yeah. Like this year, they need to go all in. All in. Number seven, Memphis Grizzlies. Ja Morant is real, man. He is real. Valanciunas has always been a good soldier. Dylan is a good player, another Canuck. They're on the rise. They're a team on the rise. I can see them doing big things. I think Ja is a special player. Number eight, Dame Dollar and the Portland Trail Blazers, unless they strip that team. But I mean, it's Dame, right? It's Dame time always in Portland, so I can't disrespect him and have him off this list. So they're at number eight. And then I got the stepchild of the Los Angeles area, the Clippers. No Kawhi, no success. That team is basically a bunch of old guys too with pandemic P. So I don't trust them. And if Kawhi doesn't come back in time, they're probably missing the playoffs or in the play-in. And last but not least, a little surprise. I think this team is due. They've got the pieces. It's basically Canada of the US.
Yeah.
Talking the Minnesota Timberwolves at number 10 with Cat and D'Angelo and who's the kid that won Rookie of the Year?
Oh man,
I always forget his name, man, because he's so quiet, but he's so good.
Yeah.
Edwards. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards. Sorry. I think it finally clicks for them. And you know what? They're like the Raptors, no expectation. So I think they'll sneak in. They won't do much, but at least they'll have something to play for. That's my top 10 in the West.
That's a great call. I'm looking at them, man. Beasley. We've always liked D'Angelo, Towns, Edwards. Like I actually didn't give them their due. I really didn't even look at them. That was a great call. Fuck. Okay, so that was our top 10. Yes, I will admit with the West that I played it safe. However, going forward now to our conference finals, in honor of Kev last year and calling us out, I did not play it safe here, Melky.
Okay.
I went pro line shooting for the Stars. So I want to say mine first because you kind of blew my mind, and it's going to relate to your choices.
Perfect.
Okay, so in the East Finals, I got Milwaukee making a return versus the Miami Heat, Kyle Lowry, Jimmy.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And the winner of that, I've got the Bucks.
Yeah.
Got the Bucks. I want to choose Kyle Lowry. I think it's going to be real close. There's going to be some amazing storylines. It might, if that series actually happened, it could be one of the best. But I have the Bucks going to the finals in the East. I didn't want to choose the Nets or anything. Not going. It's relatively safe, but not that safe.
It's not safe right now. They don't have their third star.
Okay, so the West. I thought I was, but I'm no longer thinking that I was going to blow your mind because in the West, contingent on this one player, but I'm going to say it. I had Golden State versus the Nuggets in the finals.
Oh, see, that's a mind blow.
Exactly. I shot for the Stars with this one. I had even looked, and I'm glad you called me out. It was a little safe. I hate the Lakers at first, already regretting it, but I won't take it back. But I have the Nuggets versus Golden State Warriors, and I have the Nuggets going to the NBA Finals to face off against the Milwaukee Bucks, Melky.
So something finally good happens in Denver, in the little D of the United States. Wow, Kevin will be happy about that.
Yes, I think the points that you made for Denver already with the contract put up, shut up, with Jamal coming back, like having the clear, one of the MVPs last year, like it's time. And I think that this team, when healthy right now, is going to go back to being one of, like I said, one of the most all-around best consistent teams in the NBA.
It was no accident they got to the West Finals a couple years ago. They just weren't ready. Like it's one of those things where like the Atlanta Hawks last year.
Yeah.
You like overachieved. You overachieved, and they did, but they have a way better roster than Atlanta. I'm sorry. Like, so Denver, it's time. Like you have all these guys are in their prime. Take advantage of it. And everybody's signed a reasonable deal. So take advantage of it. So that's a great, I love that. That honestly, man, see, that's a mind blow.
I want Golden State, Denver. So let's hear yours, Melky.
So I played it a little safer.
Okay.
I went with Milwaukee, of course. They're the class of the East. I don't care what anybody says.
Yep.
And they're going up against Brooklyn. And Brooklyn's winning that.
Okay.
Brooklyn is winning it. James Harden wants
You called this last year.
I did, but I did not expect these injuries to happen. And Kevin Durant was a shoe size away from taking them to the next round.
Yep.
So I'm going with the Brooklyn Nets representing the East. And in the West, see, this is why I work with you. You picked Golden State. I have Golden State.
I love it.
And
I thought I was going to blow your mind.
And they're playing the Lake Show.
Okay.
And the Lake Show's losing.
Oh.
And we're having a final of Kevin Durant versus Steph Curry to see who is the best of the best. And Kevin Durant wants to prove them wrong because he didn't get his accolades and he didn't get his shower of cheers because it's Steph's team, it's Steph's town, and we have the Brooklyn Nets beating the Golden State Warriors, putting Kevin Durant on Mount Rushmore.
Wow, that's a spicy meatball. I love it. You answered the question that you saw coming out of my mouth already. Yep. Who is going to win that series, win the finals? Wow, so Brooklyn's finally going to do it. The super team. Steve Nash, I got to think, would be up for Coach of the Year if all of this is happening, Melky, the way you're saying it.
No, the Chicago coach is getting it.
Yeah.
For making them relevant. But yeah, like, I mean, it could be Steve Nash, like, especially if Kyrie's not playing at all. So you're down. your one of your big bullets, one of your big guns, so to speak, and you take them to the promised land. But I just think Durant and James Harden are going to be on a mission. I love the Patty Mills signing. I love Aldridge coming back. I even like the Paul Millsap signing as well. They have depth. They have a great coach, and it's Kevin Durant.
Hard to argue with anything you're saying. And just great. And yes, I love that we both chose Golden State. So my finals between the Nuggets and the Bucks, Melky, I've got the Bucks winning their second title in a row.
Back to back.
And not only this, but this is going to answer the next question because Giannis is going to win his second MVP in a row. Now, the player I have beside is Steph Curry. I have runner-up for MVP this year, and that ties into what I think Golden State's going to do. And then obviously I have Kevin Durant third, which is great. But Steph Curry second. But I have Giannis. This Milwaukee team, they're going to seal the deal. They're not going to become a dynasty. I'm not saying anything like that. But these 2 years are Milwaukee's years. And this guy's going to put it up. He's only 27 years old?
Mm-hmm.
He's just going to have a stellar. They're not going to fall out of the top three at all this season. They're just on a run. And yes, they lost guys like PJ and whatnot, but I mean, the guys they still have there, how can you say no?
And they still have talent throughout. They've made some nice depth moves as well. Portis re-signed.
Yep.
That it's Giannis, man. Like he can't bet against the Greek Freak. I have him as my runner-up as MVP. My MVP is one Kevin Durant.
Ooh. Well, yeah, according to you, I would agree with that. Brooklyn winning it. Him and that's such a crazy storyline that I didn't know I want to is Kevin Durant proving that he didn't need the super team in Golden State.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin Durant is the type of guy, and I honestly think, in the most positive way possible, I say this, he's also a freak that I think that he could will himself and his team to win based on shit like that.
I just think perseverance, right? He came back from the Achilles. It's another year removed where he's back in action. He not having Kyrie, I think that's going to fuel him. I think James Harden and him being on the same page is going to fuel each other. James Harden, he's a free agent. This is his best chance to win. You're not winning if you go to Philly. I'm sorry. Yep. You're not winning in Philly. You need to win in Brooklyn. So do it now and prove everyone wrong. Make the narrative that you guys, former teammates in OKC, where you were too young back then, but now you're the best players, arguably top 5 players in the NBA that get it done. And in spite of no Kyrie, this is supposed to be a big 3. And you just prove that you don't need him and you go out and do it yourself. I just think Brooklyn is prime. There's so much at stake and there's so much they want to prove. I just think it's going to all come together this season.
Awesome. Great picks. I always love our prediction sections in any sports, man, because there's always at least a couple hot takes. And just like last year, we'll revisit this January, February, mid-season, see where we're at, and then going into the playoffs, we'll see who was more right and who was more wrong, like always.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
Okay. So quick little 2 segments before we end the show. The first one, just a quick shout out to Leo and Rod, 2 voices of the Toronto Raptors that have left the organization. They've been a huge part. We still got Jack and the like Davis and stuff, like the replacements. I'm fine with it, but these 2 guys leaving is quite the shock. They've been a big part of the Raptors organization and us hearing over the last couple of years.
Sad to see them go. They're both icons when it comes to Canadian basketball, especially Leo. Apparently, though, he's still working with TSN. He's just not going to do the broadcasting. So I found that really odd. It was very shocking. Rob Black's been there forever, so I guess he just wanted to do something else or move on. But it's gonna be sad.
Maybe I could be wrong.
Yeah, it could be that too, right? Like he's been on TSN forever, and it's sad to see. Like I actually like Leo's voice. It's calming. It's the calming factor, opposed to the other 2 broadcasters they have. But Alvin's gonna do a great job. He already has. Alvin knows basketball. Alvin,
how can you not like it? And he's put in the work over the last couple of years. Like he's been solid.
Absolutely. He knows, and he knows the players better than anyone. He's close to them. He's closer to their age. So it's a great, it's a new beginning. It's a new chapter, and I can't wait to see what happens. I think Alvin's going to do a great job. We'll miss Leo. We'll miss Rob Black, but times change. You got to move on.
Yep. New year coming back to Toronto. Fresh team, fresh faces. It's how it is. We'll miss you guys, but it's time for the new look Raptors, man, going into these roaring 20s.
Roaring 20s.
An
That's
absolute shite so far. Okay. So last season, in honor of the great Black Mamba Kobe Bryant, we ended every episode with a top Kobe moment. We love doing it so much that we even said last year that we're going to continue it this year. Now, you can only do so many Kobe moments, and the times past, it was out of respect. So we're going to move on. We're going to do different things this year. We're going to change it up. We'll have, if you have a suggestion, let us know. But as we're going, we'll just see what we like. Who knows? Starting though, most importantly, this first episode, one that's very near and dear to both our hearts. This is the Kyle Lowry tribute. This guy is the GOAT, the Raptor, the thick booty of this team. I mean, the leader. And I'm hoping, as much as I hate Miami, that he does something.
The Bulldog.
The Bulldog. So in honor of Kyle Lowry, who, and I promise you, this is not the last time you're going to hear this man's name on this podcast this year. I'm sure we're going to have another moment. So my Raptor moment is his career high, Melky. And I'm going to be taking you back to February 26, 2016, with the career high 43 points to lead the Raptors over LeBron fucking James and the LeBronto Raptors, those Cleveland Cavaliers who always had our number in the playoffs. This guy shot it over Dellavedova. God, yeah. I always said that guy's wrong. So this game, 43, just put it on his back. It was 2016. It was where the team really started to transition into what would become that 2019 team. And you just saw the Kyle Lowry leadership take sight. Now, Melky, did I take yours?
You did. I have it exactly written the same way you just read it. So I'm going to find...
I'll do some Jeopardy music. I mean, you can't really go wrong. There's a ton of moments. I hope there's none that overshadow, and I hope he signs a one-day contract and retires as the Raps. He's gonna
have a statue.
Yeah.
No, he I hope Miami does something. Because of Gooby, I can't stand them, and Gooby and I had to when we were younger, the only basketball games I was allowed to see was before you and I started talking more and other people, was against Miami because he's had such a hard on for Dwayne Wade. So I saw nothing but Miami games except for the one Laker game that we saw where we cheered for Kobe wearing Raptor jerseys, and people turn around like, why are you cheering for the Lakers? It's like, that don't matter. It's Kobe. So I'm going to go with, do you remember the Miami series? Couple years ago?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
Lowry hits that 3 ball near the end to take it to OT.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that is a thing of beauty. That just defined Lowry in the clutch. A guy you can always depend on, a guy that never say die attitude. That was an exciting year. We went to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in team history. Lost to LeBron, but we took him to 6. And yeah, that's just Lowry in a nutshell, man. Always dependable, Mr. Reliable. That was a hell of a game too. And yeah, man, that was just a phenomenal shot because I didn't think it was going in. I don't know about you, but I definitely didn't think it was dropping.
No, and dude, honestly, great moment. That one brings back memories, man. I still remember my buddy got a brand new apartment, spent pretty much all his money on a fucking large screen TV and a fucking couch. So we're all just huddled there, drinking beer, watching that as it sank in, going nuts in this bare bones apartment. So great call with that moment. That's for me, like what I'm talking about is one of those moments where I actually remember being there watching it.
Yeah, I remember I was living in Milton with a common troll, and I was glued to my seat, and I did not think it was going to drop, and we went nuts as soon as it dropped, taking OT. We didn't get the OT win, but the fact that he got us to OT, it was incredible.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, Melky, episode 1.
In the books.
It's done in the books, buddy. I am fired up. This has been an absolute blast.
Yeah, I'm happy throwing brick shots like Russell Westbrook again with your bro. I can't wait to, to get it back out in the hardwood and practice missing more shots than ever. It's season 2, man. It's going to be nothing but complete misses.
Oh, our form impeccable, but we're missing every shot. Melky, where can we find you? Anything going on, buddy? Any last words about this crazy network we're a part of?
It's pretty crazy, isn't it? No,
Yeah.
Shout out to Anthony, El Capitan, who runs the ship, for letting us basically do whatever the hell we want. Shout out to you, man, for being my partner in crime, my not Capitan, but
I am the Capitan.
okay,
Look at
El
me.
Capitan. Look at me.
I am the captain now.
Thank you for like taking all these dysfunctional journeys on every podcast. You can find me on Show Us Your TDs. You can find me right here on Nothing But Miss. We got Mustard coming up, a new season, new cast, new humor, new movies. Just it's gonna be off the walls. Lots of Mustard Bukakis. Like honestly, like it's gonna be so much to handle. I can't wait. And yeah, just look towards Bah and I just doing more stuff and entertaining you all.
I couldn't have said it any better, man. We've got big things coming. We're excited about this year. All those episodes. Like us on Instagram, subscribe to YouTube, follow us on Spotify, Apple, wherever you're going to listen. I'm Bah. That's Melky. This is episode 1 of Nothing But Miss. Folks, we're going to see you again, episode 2 down the line. Peace. Go Raps, go.
See ya.
See ya.